Today we're gonna introduce awesome topic. We're gonna talk about community innovation, and the future of can we be friends here? Julia is asking. Yes, you can follow people here.
Yeah, we love friends.
Yes.
That's the whole point of our thing is making new friends, new people. We
Do you
want.
know Julia?
I don't think I do.
No?
I do. I
Well,
apologize, but I don't think uh we've talked. Um,
but it's amazing. So looks like we just made a new friend.
yeah,
Awesome, Julia. Yes, let's be friends.
love making new friends. So whenever we
Yes.
can get more connection with others, that's the whole point of corners as well as Substacks. Between the two, we are set. Hey, Grace, welcome.
Hey, Grace. So I just posted in a comment the topic for our live. All right. Our Grace said hello back to you.
All right, I think we're good to go. We got a few people in the room.
Five people.
Let's kick this off.
Yes. Yes. So Rich, I'll always start this, because I'm thrilled with what the future holds for us. I believe a lot of people would remember, like the chats that we had back in the days that you would join like phone call chats, you know, and from that we evolved for MSN and Skype. Skype was like the OG of online communication, I believe, right?
Mhm.
I believe everyone remembers it. And then something amazing came around. I believe was like one of the major, biggest breakthroughs regarding social networks back in the days, and it was called MySpace. Do you remember MySpace,
Like,
Rich?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
M- MySpace was amazing. And why am I saying that? Because technology and bringing people together, they walk hand in hand, right?
mhm.
So the biggest breakthroughs we had as a human society was when we stopped being, nomads and we started, gathering around neighborhoods, communities, and this that. And and why that's so amazing, and why the human race evolved so much during that time because we are able to do something that no other. Yes, the Wi-Fi could cut off the on Skype. Yes. And Grace, the people around the house would say, "Hey, get off the internet. I want to call your aunt." My mom would do that to me.
Yeah.
You know. And so we are, as human beings, we are able to exchange knowledge with one another, right? So I believe that's the base foundation of community, right? So what are your thoughts around this, Rich, around this introduction?
Yeah. I think when we start thinking about it, I mean, that was kind of the essence of what the internet really started was that connection of the world, creating that community that wasn't just your little neighborhood. It was really a big world of connection, and you started to be able to talk to everyone. I remember when I just starting to really start playing with the internet. I found some apps, and it was like very early days where you could actually do a phone call like we're doing, um, but it was like really wacky technology, like, through all sorts of back doors and whatnot you had to get through. But I actually would talk to people from all over the world, and it was really cool. And I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." But it was very difficult. It was a lot of bandwidth. It was, not easy to do. But I had a lot of fun, figuring it out and playing with that. And today that now we're doing this, right here, and it's as easy as anyone just joining in. We Back then it was you had to have the right system, you had to have a good computer, you couldn't
Yeah.
do half the things that we're doing now. I mean, we're talking on our phones. This is like, and it's a complete different world now. So, uh, but back then, yeah, that was the start of community. It was start of a new community, I would say. That's where the community of world connections really started, where people started to see more than what was just in their neighborhood.
Grace is saying, I was invited to join another faculty member to interview a prospective student. I thought Skype would do for now because the candidate has to travel quite a distance otherwise. Yes, and that's what we're talking about, Grace. I'm in Brazil and Rich is in the United States. He's in Philadelphia, so can you imagine, telling people 15 years ago that we would be doing like live, thousands of miles apart with almost no lag whatsoever?
I
It,
in meetings, in business meetings, and saying, "Oh, well, someday we'll be able to do this from our office," and people are going, "That's not true. We'll never be able to do that." Like, there's nothing like meeting in person. And true, there's nothing like meeting in person, but the way that technology is today, I mean, I'm able to see you face to face all the time if I want. It's
yeah.
not like I can't see what your expressions are or how you're feeling, things like that. I can get that sense where you couldn't get that in the older versions, but now we can do all that. So yeah, it when people said it will never happen, it happened. It's just like, I think at one point people said it will never happen with a computer or it will never happen with a cell phone or things like that. Here we are. So
Yeah, I believe it's the same old story, whenever CDs came around, people say, like disc will die. They
uh,
never die. They still around, like
mhm.
whenever AI will come around, we're gonna, it will not, it's just gonna improve everything that we're doing. And I agree with you on that, this video calls, the internet, the devices, are getting better and better every day, so the in-person gathering, they're not gonna die, What is happening is the amount of information and the speed which the information is transactioned has increased, And I have a fun fact, for you guys that are watching us. Me and Rich, we are business partner, we have equity, split between one another, and we have not met in person, but I feel like we're more than business partner at this point, because we talk every day. We are always connected, either in video calls, on chats, and in whatever. So like, there's no physical distance anymore, So all this environment, obviously, because of the technology, has enabled so much growth everywhere, to do business, to meet other people, to learn stuff, and that's community
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
that is community, and that's the amazing part. I mean, that just by you and I having that one little conversation several months back, we it turned into a friendship and a partnership, and we've been working every day together, figuring
Yeah.
and making a lot of things happen, which is
Yeah.
amazing, and all through all through the technology. Not we have unfortunately not able to met face to face yet, but someday we will.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's the plan. So
Yeah, and everything started with a pain of ours, and as we talk, like, all right, so all those things, they stop existing because new things came around, like the same thing happened with MySpace. MySpace had around two like 100 million monthly active users back then, and then Facebook came around with a new experience with new features, and MySpace wasn't, cool anymore, let's put it that way, and the things are evolving, I remember when Instagram came around, everybody was like, but who's gonna want to post their personal life, like it was crazy to think about it,
all the
and now,
yeah,
huh?
Who would wanna post all their pictures, you know?
Yeah, who's gonna post about their personal life, Like, I remember people talking about this, and right now we are at the point that, the bandwidth, the internet, the devices got so high tech that this is possible, And our dream was always because today, being totally honest, like you guys that are listening to us, do this reflection, ask the people around you what they think about the current social media, the traditional one. And, we did that. And I will tell you, 8 out of 10, they are not satisfied. They,
Yep.
they are waiting, they are urging for the next big thing to come around. So that's where sparked me, Rich, Gabe, and other amazing people to build a community. We said, all right, so let's gather people, to have meaningful interactions, to talk about stuff that we love, from philosophy, from tech, from AI, from spirituality, from books and whatever. And that's what we did. We said, all right, let's build our own community, right, Rich? So tell us a little bit about how is the journey going, the purpose behind this community that we are building.
The we've really kind of made some major updates to what we started. Our vision has improved over time because we keep redefining a little bit more on what we want for this to look like. And I think we've really come up with a great community of basically what I would consider like neighborhoods of topics. And it's going to be a really cool area where you can go in and you can have that video chat. You can have the you can read about great topics just like you're on Substack and all. And there's going to be a great synergy between Substack and us where we can have these live conversations like we're doing now, but with others in the room. It's not just me and Khalil. It will be everybody who joins can actually be in the conversation, and that's going to be the fun part about it. So I think that's really what I'm the most excited about. What we're doing is that.
Yeah, yeah, I was like daydreaming as you spoke because that's the thing, and that's what technology is able. It's making us achieve. Like there's no boundaries right now. For example, we have in our team. I'm in Brazil. Rich is in Philadelphia, United States. We have Gabe in London. We have Kasia in Poland. We have Shahid in Pakistan. And we have Justin in Atlanta. Can you imagine that? Like, in what world could that be possible?
A global, yep, a global.
A global team working together, and that's amazing because there's different cultures, different insights, different experience, different knowledge, and what was that?
I said different languages. Even we have
Different languages.
years there, but we work through it. So
We work through it, and it's amazing because, we are able to learn so much about one another because like in Brazil, we have New Year and we have a lot of festivities, some sort of the same as United States. And Shahid, for example, in Pakistan, he has a totally different calendar. He doesn't have New Year, whatever we have. He had it in a different time. He has Ramadan. Like it sounds like a whole new world. Like sometimes I question myself, like. Are we even in the same planet? Like, because there's little difference, from time zones and culture and this and that. And that's amazing.
mhm. What I found yesterday because we kind of stumbled into something yesterday. We were talking and I realized that he was in the dark, and I'm like, "Oh, wait, it's you're only an hour difference, but it's dark there." And then I realized it's because he's not just the time zone, but he's on the other side of the world. So he's
Yeah,
different system of time there, where the daylight starts. It's he's going into winter, and we're going into summer. So
yeah.
it's pretty wild when you start really thinking about all the differences and how we're connecting. So
Yeah, that's a fun fact because we are in the same time zone, but you are all the way up here in in the North Hemisphere, in Philadelphia, and I'm all the way down here, almost in a straight line down in the like tip of Brazil, and yes, you guys are getting ready for summer. We're getting ready for winter, and that's like what? That's
We
mind blowing,
when I saw Dark, I was like, "What? Wait, what? Oh, that's right. He's going into winter." So, yeah, it's pretty amazing how we can do all this stuff and be together, online. We have these meetings, we have our planning times and everything else. It's really cool. We will, Julia.
I
We follow you.
I already did, Julia, actually. So just check it. You have received my following, and I will check out your Substack after this live. And and that's amazing. You see, we just made a new friend, and I see that data guy is around again, So welcome in, and we are just like you said, on the whenever we were setting up for this live, it's all about building bridges,
Mm,
not silos. So it's always it's all about, creating an environment that welcomes others to join in, like not set us apart, but more like, all right, so there's some people in Japan. Come in, join us. You want to talk about this? You want to talk about that? You want to be part of our community? Join in, So that's what amazing.
exactly.
What else? And that's inspiring innovation, because as well as we work, we learn with one another as a community. We are able to collaborate with one another as well, So if I need help, I raise my hand here, and I have all these people around me, that are willing to help me, and otherwise, so that's amazing, that's what really empowers community building. And we see that throughout everything, the amount of technological advancements that we did, in the past few years is just gnarly. Because whenever you see all those teams working remote, being able to bring talents from around the globe, ASAP. And 15 years ago, you were kind of, stuck in your little world, in your city, because you had to hire people in person, because working remote 15 years ago was almost
Yeah.
impossible.
I mean, there was capabilities, but it was not easy to do. And the technology was that you needed to do it right was a lot. So for majority of companies, they couldn't afford all that. Um, but today, it you can do most of your work right from your cell phone. It's pretty wild.
It is. And that reminds me one of the greatest features that we have built, Rich, which is the Nooks. You know, the Nooks was designed to be like, I love how you put it that, it's like walking into a coffee shop, and you see all those tables, and sometimes you end up having conversation with a total stranger, or you bump into old acquaintance, old friends. So that's what the Nook inside of Cornice is all about. It's a space that you join a video call like 24/7, you know, whenever, and other users receive a notifications telling that you are online, and people just start gathering around, and start having conversations, and that's amazing.
That's the fun part too, because now you get to start to meet people not just from your neck of the woods, but you get to meet people from anywhere in the world. And what I really like about how we're setting up these nooks are that we can start anyone can start a nook. They can go in, they can enter that nook, and then it will automatically alert people saying, "Hey, someone's in this nook if you want to join." And if, as we grow, that's going to be all the time, 24 hours a day. You're going to have people talking to each other. And that's going to be the greatest part is that that's not the loneliness of the current social media. The current social media, you scroll, you scroll, you scroll. Yeah, you see a lot of information about your friends or new people or whatever, but you don't really get that interaction. Um, Even here, when we do these, it's great. We have a little bit of a chat and stuff like that, but there's no way to get that conversation going with the other people in the room. In corners, that's what we're building, is that you can have that conversation with a group of people versus just the host and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah. That's you said something really amazing, and that's something that bothered me, in traditional social media. Like you almost have zero interaction, you
mm,
know. Like you spend hours scrolling, but you haven't even spoke a word, to nobody else. And whenever you do, you know, it's hard to remember the times that the conversation kind of, you know, build up, around it. Sometimes you just comment and somebody reply back and that's it, you
mhm.
know.
Or a lot is just
And
the like button and moving on.
yeah,
It's okay,
yeah.
nice, but what did that mean for you? That is there a conversation that you want to have from that, or did that person want a conversation? Maybe they were looking for a and did you not interact with them like the way they were hoping you would, so there's a lot of stuff that happens in that. And then the I think that's where also some of the depression and things like that start to happen, because you start to see all these people doing things, and then you start going, well, I'm just sitting here reading this, and then you start thinking about that, and then that starts to create that whole cycle of depression on you. So it really can be a vicious cycle. It's great. Social media is a great thing, also be a bad thing in some ways, because it can create those other issues. So it's finding that balance. But what we found is we can create ways of communication that is bigger than just scrolling through or just a comment. It's the actual talking. Just like if you went to coffee shop and you sat down with your friends and had that conversation over a cup of coffee, or you went to your local bar and you started having a conversation at the bar, or whatever, wherever your social outlet might be. It's that same idea. You can go and have that traditional conversation with real people versus just commenting or reading what others are doing.
Yeah, and one of the biggest breakthroughs that we did with Corners, as a social network, and the way that we are building these bridges is with the business model. So the people, they are rewarded by the engagement, inside of the community, So every time you do an action inside of the app, you get rewarded by it. As the users, the creators get rewarded by it with payouts, and we call that our Corners token, So it's a utility token inside of the app, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, like everyone collaborating with one another, having conversations, engaging. We have the cornerstones, we have the clouders, so the cornerstones are basically the leaders, the moderators of the different corners, you know. One moderator, one cornerstone can have multiple corners, and one corners can have multiple cornerstones and vice versa, and that's amazing. And for me as a user, can join in all those corners, all those, nooks, loops, which are the specific tax-based discussions. And my mind just got blown because, we're still very early on our journey. But the amount of people that I met, throughout corners, starting from Rich, a lot of other people, we have coffee with philosophy, we have day hangouts and stuff like that.
And a
So
I mean, we are just starting to really do this. And I'm really excited about is that way we have structured this. It's a little like the Substack where you have your subscription, but it's one subscription. You don't need to subscribe to every single content creator. You can go sign up for Corners, and all the content creators will be accessible, and you'll be able to see their content. And that's going to be the really great part about it. Um, now, to people that are listening, we are just really starting this. So if you go in there today, you're not going to see a lot yet, but we are going very quickly to get people in. We already have several creators that are getting set up to become part of our environment. So we are going to start really through a lot of exciting hurdles to make this happen. And you're going to corners grow very, very quickly. So we are at the start. This is the beginning, and we are making these huge, huge changes to make
Yeah.
exciting times with exciting people. We are being selective with our creators. It's not going to be just anyone for a while. Eventually, maybe we'll open up that door, but for the beginning, it's going to be select creators so we can really make sure that we're getting good content on there for our members. They can really get engaged with the conversation, really have those face to face talking. They can join in a Nook at any time. We'll have the host being joining in the Nook in our conversation. It'll be a lot of fun where we're going to have a lot of activity going on all the time.
Yeah, and that's amazing that you said, Rich, because I see that, you know, how we are empowering our community, you know. I remember back in the days, it's funny to say back in the days, right? Like when we were just among friends and family, you know, testing out the app, the proof of concepts, this and that. And then we introduced the subscriptions. And whenever we looked into the financial reports was like just like family and friends. And now as we grow, it's starting to people that we don't even know, showing up on the financial reports, paying to use the app, on the subscribers, like we don't know a lot of those people, and that's amazing because we are being able to fulfill our purpose, with the clouders, again, people are paying to use the app, so this supports everything that we are doing because we won't and we don't want to go into the ads based business model, because we want to keep the experience and the value proposition center on the user, as a community. So that's why we introduced the subscriptions based business model and the creators. We just closed an amazing partnership a few months ago with Justin. He's from Atlanta. He's a very renowned fashion model. All about culture, business. He has an influencer agency called GZTV. And it's a person that we met through corners,
Mhm.
and that's amazing. That's a world of possibility, and that's how we are, inspiring innovation and empowering, from our team members to our community.
Exactly, exactly, and the excitement around that is going to be amazing because with Justin being on our team now, he's going to really take us to a whole new level. He's going to be going to fashion shows in the fall, the big ones that are all over the world, and he's going to be bringing all the information of corners with him and promoting it there. And you're going to see all these fashion people joining on corners. And there's a corner that is dedicated to fashion. And there's also another corner dedicated to beauty. So there's going to be a lot of great topics, a lot of great information. So this is not just a Substack, but a beyond Substack where it's a members only environment. It's going to be really good content creators on there who have really good information to share with you and help you grow. And it's about that conversation. Again, it really comes down to that. Of all the things that we're doing, everything comes back to that conversation, real time, real conversation, nothing fake, not a bunch of reading. You can read, there'll be stuff on there, but it's really about the conversation is what's going to be the center point.
Yeah, and that's get us to the topic about leading with integrity, like it's all about being transparent, it's all about trust, and it's all about accountability. So again, the way that the corners were set up, it's all about, integrity. So, like Rich said, we are being very careful with the leaders that we are bringing in, with the type of content that we are bringing in, because again, the amount of, I don't even know the word to use, but you know what I mean. The amount of poor content that we see throughout social media, even on Substack, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you don't even name it. Like on Instagram and TikTok, the amount of BS that we see, is just astronomical. And the downside is the harm that it does to the planet at
Mm.
all. We see from a lot of things, people going to depression, a lot of hate speech, a lot of fake news, a lot of people that have like millions and millions of followers, talking stuff or making stuff up just for the hype, just for the likes, just for the impressions,
Yep.
you know. So that's really harmful for us as a society. And that's what's making a lot of people sick.
And that's really what we're focused on is that integrity and that transparency, and that trust and accountability. There, we're really trying to create an environment where our our creators are really vetted people. They're not just anyone. They're not going to give you a bunch of junk. They're not going to tell you lies. They're not going to create a bunch of AI stuff. They're there to give you authentic, real information, educational stuff. There'll be politics on there, but it'll be we're going to make sure that we're not getting junk stuff. We're getting real stuff. And that's where our focus is going to be around. So as we vet these people out, we're going to make sure they really know their stuff. They can speak correctly about it, and they're going to have great conversations around it. That not just say, "Oh, this is what we're doing." They're going to have a conversation so that you can be part of that and have your opinion heard as well. So we're very excited about having that transparency and that accountability there, and not creating the junk that's out there on Instagram and things like that. Which Instagram is great, but right now a lot of people are creating just AI stuff and throwing it out there. So it's becoming less and less of that. And though AI might help with what we have done, it's not going to be 100% AI. It's going to be the person creating the stuff and using AI to help them to create it, not just creating AI and throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing to see. And I can only dream what the future holds for everything, as we are able to achieve and to see community. And we see the same thing on the, let's put it, the real world. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there's a project in the uh, around Dubai, it's called The Line. So have you heard of it, Rich?
I
Have you heard of this project?
It's what I'm thinking about. I've heard a couple things. So go ahead, tell me though. Make sure I.
Yeah, it's the vertical building that goes like miles long, and a few stores high, and is designed, it's built around sustainability and community. And the way it's aligned, it's because you can go to one point to another in a matter of minutes. So there's no intersections, there's no traffic, nothing. So the whole architectural project, from the water usage, from logistics and everything was thought around community. So it's an amazing project. And I'm seeing more and more, here in Brazil, we have a few projects, people like building communities neighborhood, and they are really designed to be self-sustainable, where people can exchange for knowledge, like gardening, like, hey, I'm gonna plant strawberries, you're gonna plant onions, and we're gonna exchange this. We have a so that's just amazing, because community is popping up everywhere. And again, community, it's actually a business model, you know?
Exactly. Exactly, and we're creating communities, multiple communities that we're that's the other fun part is that we're
Yeah,
multiple communities because when you think about it, every corner is kind of a community of its own. So, and
yeah,
community is a one word, but I also like to call it a neighborhood, because really
yeah,
they're neighborhoods because
yeah.
many people going in there, many people, having their own space in there, but it's all together. So everyone should know everyone and everyone can talk to everyone and the content's being created. It's all going to be visible right from the start. So it's going to be a really nice way of having these community neighborhoods.
Yeah. And we just had to make new friends on this live, you know. Grace, that a guy came around again. Great to see you. Julia, you know, hey Julia, we are following you, you know. Andrew Jones, do you know anyone named Andrew Jones,
Oh,
Rich?
welcome, Andrew. We're happy to
So
smart work
yeah,
have you. So yeah, all that are here. Katie, I see joined. So we're happy to have everyone on and uh, love to have you part of the corners environment and the worthy mindset environment. We are actually taking the two environments and we're going to bring them together because there's so much intertwined in everything that we do. So we want to make it easy for everyone. So you're going to see a shift of what was originally the worthy mindset shifting into corners, and it'll be one big environment and we're not going to charge for it. We want you all to be able to have our great content, keep tabs on what we're doing with corners, as well as continue to learn with the worthy mindset. So all that information is going to be blended in, and you're going to be able to see that. So that's one announcement I kind of wanted to just make sure everyone was aware of that we were making that move. So you're going to see that happening, and everything will be free.
yeah. And to be part of our amazing community, you know, make sure you download the app. It's available on the best app stores out there, you know, for iOS, from Android, you know, and
And
enjoy
it's under
the Zen.
Corners Social Network. So if you want to find the app for Corners, it is Corners Social Network. That is how it's going to be out there, and it's a easy download and setup. And when you're ready to go into the Nook, you just press the Nook, and it will open up into a camera, and you'll be able to share, and it'll alert out saying, "Hey, Sally joined or whoever," and people can jump in and start talking with you.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
All right. So anything else? I mean, I know we got a little bit more time. So what was else on the,
Yeah. Let me see.
was there any, is there any questions on this? Like what we're doing, our leadership skill wise, because really all this that we talked about really connects back to the leadership that Khalil and I have been doing. We really had to work together and take our talents, our different skill sets, and put them together and lead this to where it is today. When I joined Khalil, they were just kind of starting to think about putting this out there and trying to grow it. Um, but I came in and I said, wait a minute, we need to make some adjustments. We need to make some planning, so we've been planning, we've been adjusting. We still have some things to adjust, but we're starting to make that move to go live now with everyone. Though the app is already alive, but we're gonna go like officially live with everyone. So we're very excited about it. It's gonna be an amazing area. And like I said, we're gonna connect it with Substack. So don't think that we want you to leave Substack. Substack is still a great area, and we see a lot of value in that. And we don't want to lose that. We just want to, in essence, eventually partner with Substack because I think there are some things that we will have that they won't have, and vice versa. So eventually you might see that happen. But for now, we're going to have our separate environments, but we're going to connect them nicely with our Corners News, keeping you informed of all the changes. When I send out the post, you'll learn more about what we're doing. When this recording, I'll attach and we'll add the post to it, which will give you a lot of details of everything that we're working on. So I'm just so excited. I can't wait to see this take off. It is going to be probably one of the top social media apps out there as we get done with this. So it is already very different. I We've done a lot of vetting with people, and the number one thing that we always come back with when we ask what makes this different, it's that video chat and having the ability to go into that nook. Though others have tried to do things like this, they never really gotten that far with it. Some of the current social media apps are trying to do things like this, but none of them have it where you can do an on-demand type conversation with just anyone. You have to set up a meeting or something like that. We have it that you can meet anyone by just going into a room, and that's going to be the fun part about it.
That's amazing because that's also, I daydream whenever I hear you say that, Rich, because that's the tip of the iceberg, the amount of stuff that we did from the beginning to now, and the amount of stuff that we still going to do. For example, Kasia, all the way for the Poland, our chief of design is working on a new, amazing, mind blowing user interface for the app. So we're just building the plane as we're flying, so we're just gonna bring more and more and more new features, value to our community, and just a mind-blowing experience. That's amazing. So again, make sure you download the app, acquire the subscription, support the community, you know and join this neighborhood, and gather with people from all around the world. That's amazing.
And if you think about it, Corner's subscription will be kind of the subscription for Corner's News because you'll help keep us going.
Yeah.
So we're not going to charge for the Corner News, but if you want to support us, get a Corner subscription, and that will support us as well.
Yes, amazing.
So
All
we
right, Rich.
a lot of great things happen, and I'm just so
Yeah.
I the and you talk about all the work that we did. I think what is amazing is that we could not have done this without the help of AI. AI has been an amazing partner with us. We have figured out how to develop the AI out to not only um, write things for us or build things in essence for us. We've created that they become a partner with us, and, and it becomes almost another team member. We have actually multiple team members from the way we've built it, so they can talk to us and tell us we think this, we think that, and it's pretty amazing what you can do with AI today. And because of that, we could do 10 times more of what we did. Um, it would have like yesterday I did one thing, it would have taken me a month and a half to do, and I did it in a day. And it was only because AI was there helping me through the reiterations. I had to go through reiterations of maybe 60 times, but it only took me a day to do it. So it was a huge difference than spending a month sitting there trying to figure everything out and coming up with formulas and everything else. So it's really cool.
Yeah, actually, for you guys listening, Rich is the wizard of AI. What this guy done, it's amazing. So, again, make sure you download the app, join the Nook. You will have the opportunity to, for example, talk to Rich, about AI and the users and everything he's doing. He's setting up a corner specifically about AI as well. We have a bunch of content, a bunch of discussion around AI, and you will be able to learn from the man himself, the wizard of AI. So that's what we're doing. We just happen to build a great place, a new kind of social network, so we can all learn with one another.
Exactly.
All right, Rich. So I believe that's game, right?
I think so. Think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone, come join us on next Wednesday. We have on Corners our Hump Day, which is at 8 o'clock Eastern. It is a great time to come in and join us in the evening. The chill out for your midweek break, have a drink, have a conversation. Definitely come join us there. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have Coffee with a Philosophy on. So we can do that as you can join us in on that. It is a morning thing, so it's at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. But you can have your cup of coffee, maybe have your breakfast with it, and sit there and just have a good conversation about whatever philosophy topic is of that day. And Cleo is generally putting out information on what those topics are going to be. So keep an eye on the Worthy Minds, or excuse me, the Corners News, and you'll see those topics come through as well.
Yeah, and make sure to tell everyone about it, and join us in. Awesome, Rich.
All right. Well, another worthy leader has completed today. We'll be doing this again next Thursday. We'll come out with our topic again very soon. But we are excited to keep moving forward with doing these live sessions and having more of you join us every time. We also are doing on Monday nights at 8 p.m. So feel free to join us on a nice evening where we can have the same similar type of conversation about something around the worthy mindset. All right, guys.
All right.
Have a great day. Take care, all.
Have a good day. All right. Bye bye.